Good day, pupils. Welcome to our online lesson. Today we are looking at human system and we are narrowing it down to circulation. Now, at the end of this lesson, there are some things that we intend to achieve. The first one, we want to know what do we mean by when we say blood circulation. The next one, we want to identify the components of circulatory system, and then we also want to identify the parts of the heart. Now let's move on. The first one, what is circulation? Circulation is the movement of blood and other material around the body. The movement of blood and other materials around the body. The movement of blood and other materials around the body. The movement of blood and other materials around the body. The movement of blood and other materials around the body. Now the most important thing is what? Movement, and then we have what? Around the body. So the movement of blood and other materials around the body, that is what we call circulation. Movement of blood and other materials around the body. I know by now you should be able to define it. So what is circulation? Can I hear you? And other materials around the body. Again, the movement of blood and other materials around the body. Again, the movement of blood and other materials around the body. Now let's look at types of circulation. There are two main types of circulation: open circulation and what? Closed circulation. How many types? Two. Open circulation and closed circulation. Open circulation and closed circulation. Open circulation and closed circulation. So we have two types of circulation: open circulation and what? Closed circulation. The open circulation is normally seen on lower animals. We see it in lower animals, but we are not concentrating on that because we are looking at circulation in human being. Now that leads us to closed circulation. Closed circulation is the type of circulation we find in higher animals. And there are two types of closed circulation. We have the single circulation and then we have double circulation. Remember, don't mix them up. There are two types of circulation, open and closed. There are two types of closed circulation, single circulation and double circulation. Single circulation is when blood goes to the heart only once to complete one circulation. It's just like saying one revolution when we treated earth rotation, is it not? Earth rotation and earth revolution. One to complete one revolution. So circulation is like revolution. Now to complete one circulation, the blood only goes to the heart once in single circulation. While in double circulation, the blood goes to the heart twice, two times. The blood will go to the heart. The first one, it has not completed, it will leave, come back again, then that will make it one circulation. That is what happens in human being. We find that in human being. And let's move forward to what do we mean by circulatory system. Now, circulatory system, or we also call it transport system, they are the organs that help in what? Circulation. Remember that circulation means the movement of blood and other materials around the body. The movement of blood and other materials around the body. The movement of blood and other materials around the body. Now, those organs that help in the movement of blood and other materials around the body, that is what you call what? Circulation. Now, let's look at the parts of circulation. What are those organs? Parts of circulation or the components of circulation. We can call it parts of circulation or we call it the components of circulation. We have the first one, the heart. The heart is the first part of circulation, the circulatory system. Now, we have the second one, the blood vessels, and then we have the third one, the blood. So there are three parts of circulatory system: the heart, the blood vessels, and the what? The blood. Now we are going to look at only the heart. In our next lesson, we'll look at the blood vessel and the blood. Now let's go to the heart. The heart is the most powerful organ of the circulatory system. The most powerful. Most powerful. Without the heart, there will not be what? Circulation. The heart is the most powerful organ of the circulatory system. The heart is responsible. The function, the work of the heart is to do what? Pump blood. So it's like a pumping machine. Pump, 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 always do your pumping. It works from the day you were conceived till when you will die. You are not dying yet, until when a human being will die. That is, the heart keeps working, keep pumping blood. That is the only function that it does. There is no other thing it does. That is the only thing. Now the heart is divided into 4 chambers. You can say it's 4 parts. You can say it's 4 sections. You can say 4 areas. You can say 4 chambers. But always know that there are 4 parts or 4 chambers of the heart. So when we diagnose a heart and see the internal part of the heart, you will see 4 chambers. What are these chambers? We have 2 chambers up. The 2 of them up, we call them the atria. That is the plural form, and the atrium, the singular form. And then we have another one. We have 2 chambers down. The 2 chambers down, we call it what? The ventricle. And the 2 chambers are the left and the right chamber. The left and the right chamber. So if you look at this, our diagram, you see we have the right atrium, the left atrium, the right ventricle, and the left ventricle. These are the 4 chambers. This is a diagonalized, a bisected heart. This is the internal part of the heart. See, here is the left atrium. Here is the right atrium. Here is the right ventricle. Here is the left ventricle. Now they are separated by this wall, just like in our skeleton. In our skeleton, we have a central bone that is separating the 2 ribs, the 2 rib cage, our rib cage, is it not? That central bone, we call it what? The sternum, is it not? So we have something that is separating. The same thing is happening to that. The same thing is applicable to the heart. The heart has a central wall that separates it into the left and the right. So we call that central wall the septum. We call the one for the rib cage, we call it the sternum, is it not? They almost have the same spelling and pronunciation, is it not? Did you notice that? Look at it. We call it what? The septum. That is the one that separates the heart into left and right. Okay, now each pumping action of the heart is known as the heartbeat. I told you that the function of the heart is to pump blood, is it not? So when you place your hand on the heart and you hear boom, 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 that is the heartbeat. We call it the heartbeat, is it not? That is the pumping action of the heart. Boom, 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 boom. And this pumping action of the heart involves 2 processes. The 2 processes. We have the 2 processes, we call it the systole and the diastole. The systole and the diastole. These are the 2 things that make up the heartbeat. Now let's explain the 2 of them. In systole, the ventricle contracts and the atria relaxes. The ventricle contracts and the atria relax. Once this happens, blood will leave the heart, and at the same time, blood will flow into the heart through the atria. It's confusing you. Okay, cool. Let's just make it down. Let's go through it. Now, in systole, there are 2 parts that we have in the heart: the upper part and the lower part. Is it not? 2 up, 2 chambers up, 2 chambers down. Is it not? Yes. We just explained the parts of the heart, so you know that, is it not? Now, the 2 chamber up, we call it the atria. In systole, this 2 chamber up relaxes. Now, we also have 2 chambers down, we call the ventricles. In systole, this 2 chamber contracts. So when this happens, blood will leave the heart through the ventricles, and at the same time, blood will also flow into the heart through the atria. Did you see it? Now in systole, let's get it. Systole, ventricle contracts, atria relaxes. Blood leaves the heart through the ventricle, blood enters the heart through the atria. That is in systole. In cyst2, ventricle contracts, atrial relaxes. Blood leaves the heart through the ventricle. Blood enters the heart through the atria. Now in diastole, the ventricle relaxes and then the atria contracts. Blood flows into the ventricle, that relaxed ventricle. The blood doesn't go in or go out during diastole. Everything happens in that inside the heart. Now in diastole, blood flows from the atria to the ventricle, and at this point the atria must be what? It must have contracted, and then the ventricle will do what? Relax to receive what? To receive blood. So relaxing means like expanding, so it will relax and receive blood. Then the atria will contract, just like squeezing, pressing. Now look at our diagram here. You see these two things I explained is happening. Look at here. Whenever this place contracts, blood leaves from here. These two valves, this valve and this valve, will open, and then blood will leave the heart. At the same time, these two parts, that is the atria, the left and the right atrium, will do what? Will relax, and blood will flow in through here, and then flow in through here. Did you see it? Now, in diastole, these two will contract. You see, two of them will contract. This valve now will open, this one will open, and blood will go from here to this point, which is the ventricle. Blood will go from here to this point, which is the ventricle. That is what happens in diastole. So in diastole, you know what happened? The ventricle will do what? Relax, like expand, relax, and receive blood. While the atria will compress, will do what? Compress or contract and push blood into the ventricle. In systole, the ventricle will do what? Contract and push blood out of the heart, while the atria will do what? Relax and receive blood into the heart. These are the things that happen. Now, let's look at the two of them. This is a normal heart. You see it? This is what happens. The two things I just described now, diastole and systole. This is how it looks like when you look at it from outside. Look at it. This is how the heart is beating here. Look at it. See, look at the inside. You see, here is the valve. It's keep opening and closing. See, this one is that valve where the ventricle leaves from. See the atria here. Now, this is where the enters from here. Here, they are showing us only the ventricles. See the atria here. See the atria here. Atrium. Now, this is a diagram of it also. See the same thing here. See that this is the ventricle, atria, and this is the valves, and that is how. Now the heartbeat, we can feel the heartbeat when we touch our ribs. Look at this man touching his own. He can feel the heartbeat, and the heartbeat, we feel it as a pulsation when we touch our vein. When we are touching our vein, we feel it. That is how we feel it. Okay, with that, we have come to the end of this particular lesson. By the time we meet next time, we talk about the other parts of the circulatory system, which is what? They are what? The blood vessels and the blood. Thank you. See you when we meet on our Google class. We will give assignments and we will have further discussion. We will also have our Zoom class. Thank you. My name is Mr. Chukwudi. See you next time. Thanks.